Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, the final one for the month of April. I'm sorry to have missed last week, but I'm glad to be back today with Bridget, John, Henry, and Maggie to perform some impromptu performances of the Bard for you guys. So, we have based on the randomly determined order. Henry is going to go first, and then Maggie will be on deck after him. So let me bring the wheel up to spin for to randomly choose what Henry's going to perform for us. Okay, spinning for Henry. Hamlet's advice to the players, Act 3, Scene 2. I believe at the top of the scene. One of the longest scenes in Shakespeare.
Is it?
But
3-2.
Speak the speech.
Okay. Is it okay if I run through the first? Is it okay if I run through the first player and do a little bit more?
Oh, sure. Whatever's comfortable for you. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as live the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use it all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the cars of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant. It out Herod's Herod. Pray you, avoid it. Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance. Oh, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold, as 'twere, a mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time is form and pressure. Now, this overdone, or come tardy off, though it make a unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve. The censure of the which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed, that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. Oh, reform it altogether, and let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready.
Okay, very nice. So, up next we have Maggie, and then John is on deck. We'll go after Maggie performs. Benedict, I do much wonder.
So it's act 2, scene 3.
Yeah, the
Okay.
very beginning, if you take out that part where the
Yeah.
boy comes in, totally
Okay,
unnecessary.
much ado. Act 2, scene 3. Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thank you. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music in him but the drum and the fife, and now he had rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 mile afoot to see a good armor, and now he will lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. And now he is turned to orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster, but I'll take my oath on it. Till he have made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich shall she be, that's certain, wise, or I'll none, virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her, fair, or I'll never look on her, mild, or come not near me, noble, or not I for an angel, of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of what color it may please God. Ha! The prince and Monsieur Love. I will hide me in the arbor.
Okay, very nice. Okay, and while you were performing, Sheila joined us. Glad that she made it. She was supposed to go second, but she wasn't here, but we'll come back to her now. So glad you made it, Sheila. Better late than never. We'll got it here on time that we won't miss your monologue. And we're going to do Wellingbrook. I think I just saw it, the very end of Richard II when Exton says he's.
Which scene are we talking about?
The very end when Exton shows up and says, I've killed Richard, and he says, Exton, I think thee not. You can start from that and skip Exton's response if you want, or you can just go straight to they love not poison that do poison. It's a very, very short one. But if you want to make it a little bit longer by putting some stuff in and just kind of ad-libbing, response to Exton saying, here, I brought you the body of Richard. It's up to you if you want to go just the last little part, which is very short at the end. If you want to go a little bit before that, and then we'll just imagine your Exton says something you're responding to.
Okay,
So it's up to you.
I got it. Exton, I thank thee not For thou hast wrought a deed of slander with thy fatal hand upon my head and all this famous land. They love not poison that do poison need, nor do I thee. Though I did wish him dead, I hate the murderer, love him murdered. The guilt of conscience take thou for thy labor, but neither my good word nor princely favor. Cain, go wander through shades of night, and never show thy head by day nor light. Lords, I protest my soul is full of woe, that blood should sprinkle me to make me grow. Mourn with me for that I do lament, and put on sullen black incontinent. I'll make a voyage to the Holy Land to wash this blood off from my guilty hand. March sadly after. Grace my mornings here in weeping after this untimely bier.
Okay, great. Good job breaking in that new monologue, only recently added to the wheel. Good first performance of that. Okay, so left from we have John, then Maggie. I'm sorry, Maggie. Sorry, John, then Bridget, then myself, and then we will spin for some scenes. So John's monologue is going to be. Oberon, I know a bank where the wild time grows. Act 2, Scene 1. It's about.
I'm having trouble here with my screens. Could you tell me what it is again, please? I can't see your screen.
Oberon giving his instructions to Puck to anoint the eyes of the lovers.
Okay.
The bank where the wild time grows.
Okay. So it's okay, and it is Act
2, Scene 1. Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay. Almost there. Almost there. It's down a ways.
Yeah. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where ox clips and the nodding violet grows, quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania sometime of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight, and there the snake throws her enameled skin weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this, I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it, and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Effect it with some care, that he may prove more fond on her than she upon her love. And look thou meet me ere the first cock crow.
Okay, very nice. So while John was performing, Eleanor just joined us. We're glad to have her back. It's been a while since we've seen her. She was supposed to go after Shelia, so we'll come back to her now. Welcome back, Eleanor.
Thank
You're
you.
ready. We got the wheel spinning for you. Portia, you see me, Bassanio, where I stand. This is just after Bassanio has chosen the correct chest.
Could someone be kind enough to send me the link to the
Oh
text?
yeah, it's what we're suggesting. It's open because since you last were with us, we had a problem with the site that we usually use that had everything. It apparently has gone offline, but it's a new site. It's Open Source Shakespeare is what I found that as a new source where we can all have. I'm gonna paste that, and I'll go on while you look for it. I'll
I
go
do
on.
have it. The only thing is I have to start another what do you call it, window for it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that
Yeah. Bridget just put that in the open source shakespeare.org is where we recommend you go to find everything. So, but I'll let you look for that while we go on to Bridget.
Thank you.
Okay, so Bridget is going to perform. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Great monologue.
Which Henry is this?
This is Henry the Fourth, Part 2, Act 3, Scene 1. The monologue that ends in uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. Act 3, Scene 1.
Just looking it up real quick. Sorry, I'm just having a tough time finding it. Almost there. You said Act 3?
Act 3, Scene 1.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just having a really tough time finding it. What scene is it again? What scene?
Act 3, Scene 1. It's the very beginning.
Okay. And then how does it start? .
Go call the Earls of Surrey and Warwick.
You said it's Henry the Fourth, Part 2?
I just put the link in there.
Oh yeah, because yeah, sorry. There we go. Go call the Earls of Surrey and of Warwick, but ere they come, bid them or read these letters, and well consider of them. Make good speed. Exit page. How many thousands of my poor subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse, how have I frightened thee, that thou no more will weigh my eyelids down, and seat my senses in forgetfulness? Why, rather sleep, list thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in perfumed of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody? O thou dull god, why liest thou with the vile, in lonesome beds, and weavest the kingly couch, a watch case, or a common warren bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast, seal up the shipboy's eyes, and rock his brains, in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of the winds, who take the roofing billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them, with deafening clamor in the slippery clouds, that with the hurly death itself awakes? Canst thou, partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, denied to a king? Then, happy low, lie down, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Okay, very nice. So let's go back now to Eleanor. See, I think she said she found it.
Yes.
Actually, I got the wrong portion. Okay, there's your banner. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
You see me, Lord Bassanio, where I stand, such as I am. Though for myself alone I would not be ambitious in my wish, to wish myself much better, yet for you I would be treble 20 times myself, 1,000 times more fair, 10,000 times more rich, that only to stand high in your account I might in virtue, beauties, livings, friends exceed account. But the full sum of me is some of something which, determined gross, is an unlessoned girl, unschooled, unpracticed. Happy in this she is not yet so old, but she may learn. Happier than this she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Happiest of all is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours, to be directed, as from her lord, her governor, her king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen or myself, and even now, but one, this house, these servants, and this same myself are yours, my lord. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, or lose, or give away, let it presage the ruin of your love, and be my vantage to exclaim on you.
Okay, great. So I have the final monologue before we spin for scenes, and let's see, I will be doing. Mark Antony. This is from Antony and Cleopatra, Act 4, Scene 12. All is lost after the defeat, and he thinks that Cleopatra has betrayed him. a second. Okay. All is lost. This foul Egyptian hath betrayed me. My fleet hath yielded to the foe, and yonder they cast their caps up and carouse together like friends long lost. Triple turned whore! 'Tis thou hast sold me to this novice, and my heart makes only wars on thee. Bid them all fly, for when I am revenged upon my charm, I have done all. Bid them all fly, begone! O sun, now uprise shall I see no more. Fortune and Antony part here. Even here do we shake hands. All come to this. The hearts that spanieled me at heels, to whom I gave their wishes due to Scandi, melt their sweets on blossoming Caesar. And this pine is bark that overtopped them all. Betrayed I am! Oh, this false soul of Egypt, this grave charm, whose eye becked forth my wars and called them home, whose bosom is my crownet, my chief end, beguiled me to the very heart of loss. Okay. So we got 7 people that we need scene rolls for. Let's spin. Let's choose some scenes. Recently. Tempest, Prospero, and Tempest Act 1, Scene 2. Prospero and Miranda. Twelfth Night, Olivia and Viola, Act 3, Scene 1. And Merry Wives, the two, Mrs. Page and Mrs. Ford. That's Act 2, Scene 1. Okay, so the 7 choices for roles again. Tempest, Act 1, Scene 2. Prospero and Miranda. Olivia and Viola in Twelfth Night, Act 3, Scene 1. Mrs. Page or Mrs. Ford in Merry Wives of Windsor, Act 2, Scene 1. And then the 7th choice is choose to spin for a second monologue. We'll go in the reverse order. So I'll choose Prospero for myself, and then Bridget went second to last, so she gets the second choice. I'll take Prospero. What would you like?
I'm gonna pick Miranda.
Okay, so you and I will do that one together. John gets the next choice.
How, is that right? I get the next choice?
Yeah, you get the next choice. Olivia, Viola, the 2 wives in Merry Wives, or an additional monologue.
How about Is Mistress Page taken?
No, I'll give you that one. John will be Mistress Page. Maggie, what would you like?
I'll take Viola, please.
Okay, Maggie will take Viola. Eleanor, what would you like? We have Mr. Ford, Olivia, or a second monologue.
Which scene is Olivia in?
Act 3, Scene 1.
Let me just check. Act 3, Scene 1.
You want to take Olivia?
Okay.
Okay. So, Sheila, you can be Mistress Ford, or you can do a second monologue.
Oh, I'd love to do Mistress Ford.
Okay. Mistress Ford will be Sheila. Okay, great. So that leaves Henry to do we'll do a second monologue after we do these 3 scenes. So first we have myself and Bridget are going to be Prospero and Miranda. Let me create the banner for that in front. Have you found where to start yet,
Yep.
Bridget? Okay, yeah. I'm behind because I was busy.
All right, let me know when you got it.
Okay, so it'll be the very top of this. I think there might be like brief interruptions by other characters. We can come back to ourselves. Okay, so go ahead and start whenever you're ready. If by your art.
Mm-hmm. If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered. Those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had, no doubt, some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere should be the good ship so have swallowed the frozen souls within her.
Collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day!
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from me. So, lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort. Direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered, that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an air, but tid to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must now know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped, and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came into this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women that once tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou remember aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are you not my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir, and princess no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we, that we came from thence? Or bless what we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly help hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think, oh, the team that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance, please you farther.
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio, I pray thee mark me, the brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state. As at that time, through all the signories, it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity, and for the liberal arts without a parallel, whose being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected, how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance, and who to trash for overtopping, now created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed him, or else new formed him, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear, that now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on't. Now attend'st not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness in the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, or prize all popular rate, and my false brother awaked an evil nature. And my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. He being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but with my power might else exact, like one who, having in truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution, and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence his ambition growing, dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played, and him he played it for. He needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for a way with the king of Naples to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet of his crown, and bend to dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, the most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition in the event. Then tell me, if this might be a brother.
I should send to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now the condition. The king of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied, one midnight fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and I, the Duke of Darkness, the ministers for the purpose, hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Alack, for pity! I not remembering how I cried out then, will cry out o'er again. It is a hint that rains mine eyes to it.
Hear a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business which now is upon us, without the which this story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged nor tackle, sail nor mast, the very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose pity, sighting back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim thou wast that did preserve me. Thou didst smile, infuse with a fortitude from heaven. When I have decked the sea with drops full salt, under my burthen groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine, some food we had and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, linen, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much. So of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I arise. Sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, the schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princesses can that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it. And now I praise, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
Know thus far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now my dear lady hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I count not but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant, come. I am ready now. Approach me, Ariel, come. Okay. Thanks, Bridget. That was fun doing that with you. Let's see. Up next, we have Eleanor and Maggie doing Olivia and Viola. Have you both found the scene? You're ready?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And okay, so I'll take myself out, and whenever you two are ready.
I'm ready.
Let
I
the
think.
garden let the garden door be shut, and leave me to my hearing. Give me your hand, sir.
My duty, madam, and most humble service.
What is your name?
Cesario is your servant's name, fair princess.
My servant, sir. 'Twas never merry world since lowly feigning was called compliment. Your servant to the Count Orsino youth.
And he is yours, and his must needs be yours. Your servant's servant is your servant, madam.
For him, I think not on him. For his thoughts, would they were blanks, rather than filled with me.
Madam, I come to whet your gentle thoughts on his behalf.
Oh, by your leave, I pray you, I bade you never speak again of him. But would you undertake another suit? I had rather hear you solicit that than music from the spheres.
Dear lady,
Give me leave, beseech you. I did send, after the last enchantment you did here, a ring in chase of you. So did I abuse myself, my servant, and I fear me you, under your hard construction must I sit to force that on you in a shameful committing, which you knew none of yours. What might you think? Have you not set mine honor at the stake and baited it with all the unmuzzled thoughts the tyrannous heart can think? To one of your receiving enough is shown. A cypress, not a bosom, hideth my heart. So let me hear you speak.
I pity you.
That's a degree to love.
No, not a grise, for 'tis a vulgar proof that very oft we pity enemies.
Why then, methinks 'tis time to smile again. O world, how apt the poor are to be proud! If one should be a prey, how much the better to fall before the lion than the wolf! The clock upbraids me with the waste of time. Be not afraid, good youth, I will not have you. And yet, when wit and youth is come to harvest, your were is alike to reap a proper man. There lies your way, due west.
Then westward ho! Grace and good disposition attend your ladyship. You'll nothing, madam, to my lord by me?
I stay. I prithee, tell me what thou thinkst of me.
That you do think you are not what you are.
If I think so, I think the same of you.
Then you think right. I am not what I am.
I would you were as I would have you be.
Would it be better, madam, than I am? I wish it might, for now I am your fool.
Oh, what a deal of scorn looks beautiful in the contempt and anger of his lip. A murderous guilt shows not itself more soon than love that would seem hid. Love's night is noon. Cesario, by the roses of the spring, by maidenhood, honor, truth, and everything, I love thee so that, maugre all thy pride, nor wit nor reason can my passion hide. Do not extort thy reasons from this clause, for that I woo. Thou therefore hast no cause, but rather reason. Thus with reason fetter, love sought is good, but given unsought, better.
By innocence I swear, and by my youth I have one heart, one bosom, and one truth, and that no woman has, nor never none shall mistress be of it, save I alone. And so adieu, good madam. Never more will I be my master's tears to you deplore.
Yet come again, for thou perhaps mayst move that heart which now abhors to like his love.
Nope.
Okay, very nice. So now we have our Mistress Page and Mistress Ford scene, and it looks like Sheila and John wanted to make a change, and they I believe you mutually agreed to it. Is that Henry is going to take Mistress Ford, and so that means John and Henry are going to be the two wives of an interesting gender bending performance here. And then Sheila, and after the two of them do that one, Sheila will do a second monologue.
Yeah, I'm off stage at the beginning, Mark.
Okay, ready? Are we ready? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, you started. Henry asked me to take him out because he's off stage when the scene starts. So it's just you, and whenever you're ready to start, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. What? Have I escaped love letters in the holiday time of my beauty? And am I now a subject for them? Let me see. Ask me no reason why I love you, for though love you's reason for his position, he admits him not for his counselor. You are not young. No more am I. Go to then, bear sympathy. You are merry, so am I, ha ha. Then there's more sympathy. You love sack, and so do I. Would you desire better sympathy? Let it suffice thee, Mistress Page. At the least, if the love of soldier can suffice, that I love thee. I will not say pity me. 'Tis not a soldier-like phrase, but I say love me, by me, thine own true knight, by day or night, or any kind of light, with all his might for thee to fight. John Falstaff? What a herald of Jewry is this? A wicked world, one that is well nigh worn to pieces age to show himself as a young gallant. What an unweighed behavior hath this Flemish drunkard picked with the devil's name out of my conversation, that he dares in this manner essay me. Why, he had not been thrice in my company. What should I say to him? I was then frugal of my mirth, heaven forgive me. Why, I'll exhibit a bill in the Parliament for the putting down of men. How shall I be revenged on him? For revenged I will be, as sure as his guts are made of puddings.
Mistress Page, trust me, I was going to your house.
And trust me, I was coming to you. You look very ill.
Nay, I'll never believe that. I have to show to the contrary.
Faith, but you do, in my mind.
Well, I do then. Yet I say I could show you to the contrary. Oh, Mistress Page, give me some counsel.
What's the matter, woman?
Oh, woman, if it were not for one trifling respect, I could come to such honour.
Hang the trifle, woman. Take the non-pure honor. What is it? Dispense with trifles. What is it?
If I would but go to hell for an eternal moment or so, I could be knighted.
What? Thou liest. Sir Alice Ford, these knights will hack, and so thou shouldst not alter the article of thy gentry.
We burn daylight. Here, read, perceive how I might be knighted. I shall think the worst of fat men as long as I have an eye to make a difference of men's liking. And yet he would not swear, praised women's modesty, and gave such orderly and well-behaved reproof to all the uncomeliness that I would have sworn his disposition would have gone to the truth of his words. But they do no more adhere and keep place together than the 100th psalm to the tune of Greensleeves. What tempest, I trow, through this whale, with so many turns of oil in his belly, ashore at Windsor? How shall I be revenged on him? I think the best way were to entertain him with hope, till the wicked fire of lust have melted him in his own grease. Did you ever hear the like?
Letter for letter, but that the name of Page and Ford differs. To thy great comfort in this mystery of ill opinions, here's the twin brother of thy letter. But let thine inherit first, for I protest mine never shall. I warrant he hath 1,000 of these letters, writ with blank space for different names, sure, more, and these are the second edition. He will print them out of doubt, for he cares not what he puts into the press when he would put us to. I had rather be a giantess and lie under Mount Pelion. Well, I will find you 20 lascivious turtles ere one chaste man.
Why, this is the very same, the very hand, the very words. What doth he think of us?
Nay, I know not. It makes me almost ready to wrangle with mine own honesty. I'll entertain myself like one that I am not acquainted withal. For sure, unless he knows some strain on me that I know not myself, you would never have boarded me in this fury.
Boarding, call you it? I'll be sure to keep him above deck.
So will I, if he comes under my hatches. I'll never to see again. Let's be revenged on him. Let's appoint him a meeting, give him a show of comfort in his suit, and lead him on with a fine baited delay, till he hath pawned his horses to mine house of the Garter.
Nay, I will consent to act any villainy against him that may not sully the chariness of our honesty. Oh, that my husband saw this letter! It would give eternal food to his jealousy.
Why, look where he comes. And my good my man too. He's as far from jealousy as I am from giving him cause, and that I hope is an unmeasurable distance.
You are the happier woman.
Let's consult together against this greasy night. Come hither.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Very
John. That
nice.
was
So the last person that hasn't been seen is Sheila. She opted to give away her part in that so that she could do a second monologue instead. So we will do the second monologue from Sheila, and that will be then we'll call it a day for our show.
This is a win-win for me because half of the fun is doing your own reading and the other half is watching others, and I had to see Henry do
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great doing. Okay, the player king, the Pyrrhus. And this is the one where you can kind of break this up. You can do the whole thing where Hamlet starts to deliver it, and then the player one starts to go with. You can skip over Polonius, and then the Hamlet starts to do it. Say you did this performance once. Can you remember it? And then the player king takes in from there, and then Polonius interrupts, and then the player king continues with the same monologue. You can do it continuously and just leave out the part where Polonius interrupts him. It's act.
Do I start with
two,
a non?
Act 2, Scene 2.
Yes. Am I starting with a non? He finds him. Is that what we're looking?
Yeah, you can start with that, or if you like, you can even go earlier to where it's actually Hamlet is speaking it. He says, "You did," the Pyrrhus monologue. He's telling the first player, "Would you perform this monologue for us?" And he does the first part of it, and then it's really three parts. There's the part that Hamlet does, and to tell him, "Can you remember this speech?" And then the first player picks it up from there. Then they get interrupted by Polonius, and then he continues. So there's really the three parts, but whatever you're comfortable with. So whenever you're ready, go.
Okay. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, 'tis not so, begins with Pyrrhus, the rugged Pyrrhus. He whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble when he lay couched in the ominous horse. Hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal head to foot. Now is he total gules, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and empasted with the parching streets that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder. Roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. Anon, he finds him, striking too short at Greeks, his antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched Pyrrhus at Priam drives, in rage strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the wrack stands still, the bold winds speechless, and the orb below as hushes death, anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammer fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof etern with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune, all you gods in general synod, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven as low as to the fiend. Scene.
Okay, very nice. So, thank you everybody for your great performances today. One thing I wanted to just a little announcement I made, as I had mentioned before, that ever since that the website that we had been using that had all of the works together, so we could all be on the same page and finding whatever came up. We've been that went offline, so I found a new one, open source Shakespeare. That's what we've been using. And I mentioned if anybody can find another one that might work better for us, that we can find that. I found one. I'm here. I just now put it. I put a link to it in the chat so that over the next week, you guys would like to check that out. I encourage you to do so, because this is one where it has, one link, all the plays, and the important thing, I've mentioned this before, that it includes a couple more that scholars have recently decided to add to the Shakespeare canon. Sir Thomas More and Edward III. We might dispute that. We could say, well, he probably only wrote a couple scenes, but then again, he probably didn't write any more of Henry VIII than he wrote of those, based on what scholars think. But that one has always been considered part of Shakespeare's works for the same reason those two have not been, because of politics. That they wanted the one that portrays Thomas More as the bad guy, and so forth. So that's, if we could, just a thought. Obviously I don't have anything on the wheel from those two, but I'm thinking, a history play, the drama over the divorce and so forth, where Sir Thomas More comes in. I haven't checked much of those plays out, but who knows? We might find some good material that could be added to the wheels in the future. But if we're using a site that doesn't have those works on it, it would be difficult. But if people can find material from those two plays that they'd like to add to start to add new material and use that as our common source, it's just something to consider. So I did include the link. So check it out over the next week and let me know. And look forward to seeing you guys next week. People watching, the same thing. We look forward to seeing you at the same time next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. See you next week. Bye now.